Tuệ Nhi, and today in our activity lesson we're going to learn about history, and today we have learned about two new freedoms. America has such a lot of freedom, and I'm thinking of two important freedoms that we learned yesterday. What is that? I noticed that one. I'm thinking of church, God, and praise about the Bible, and yes, it's the freedom of worship. I'm so glad that we have the freedom of worship, so we can go to church and read the Bible. Now, what if I'm doing? I am talking. Yes, I am talking. This is called the freedom of speech. The freedom of speech shows that you can say what you like, but can you say unkind words? Not say that you are not friendly. No, we cannot say unkind words. The freedom of speech means you need to say kind words. Today, we're going to learn about two more freedoms. It's called the freedom of the press and the freedom of assembly. We talked about them in yesterday, and today we're going to learn about them. Let's begin to read about what the freedom of the press means. I'll say, you say after me. Newspaper.
Newspaper.
Magazine.
Magazine.
Good job. The freedom of the press. My dad reads the newspaper every day. Sometimes he does not agree what that is written. Then he can write to the paper himself and tell people how he feels. Sometimes the newspaper will print his letter. There are people in some countries who have to agree with what is written in their newspaper. Do you know? In some countries, they will have to agree. If they will not agree, they thought what they say is right. This is not right. They would be punished. And I'm so glad that Americans have the freedom of the press, so they can agree or not agree. Then they can show the governor of the newspaper what is right. There are people in some countries who have to agree with what is written in their newspaper. They would never try to write what they thought. They would be punished if they did, just like I said. Aren't you glad that Americans have freedom of the press, or the freedom to write what they believe in the newspaper and magazine? Let's turn to the next page. But before we talk about the freedom of assembly, do you know what the freedom of assembly means? I don't know what the freedom of assembly means, and today we're going to learn about it so we can know about it. The freedom of assembly in America. First let's say the vocabulary. Assembly.
Assembly.
Assemblies.
Assemblies.
Good. The freedom of assembly. In America, people can gather together in any church they want. If there is a problem, people can gather together to talk about it. At school, we go to assemblies to see programs and to hear people talk and sing. In America, people can gather together whenever they want. Whenever they want, as long as they do not cause trouble or try to hurt others. Being able to gather together is called the freedom of assembly. So, do you remember what the name of the freedoms we learn about today? Yes, it's the freedom of the press and the freedom of assembly. Why are they important? Student watching. They are important because the freedom of the press means you can read the newspaper, you can believe or not believe and show the people that written the newspaper what is wrong and not is wrong. The freedom of assemblies means you can gather together in church, but you cannot hurt others. You cannot hurt others, so that is called the freedom of assembly. It is so fun learning about the freedom of the press. I hope you obey them, not causing any trouble. And I hope you still remember all of the freedoms you can learn. And if you have some videos about the freedom of the press and the freedom of assembly, show them to me so I can share with you what you talk is wrong